Okay, people, welcome back to another Play Day. It's a day upon which we play. Or, well, there's a lot of playing during the days leading up to a play day because of the painting or the assembly or whatever else needs to be done. Or going to the post office and picking up boxes and ripping them open and going, oh, you guys are too kind. I've got some customs that I've done or finished or tweaked, but a lot of this is stuff that people gave me in Toylanta or have sent to me in the mail. And I like looking at that kind of stuff. And I like shooting videos of that kind of stuff. So here we are, just taking a look at some talented people doing some talented work. And if you see anything that you like, links are in the description. Go click it. See what's going on. Starting with a few things I picked up at Toylanta, this is the exclusive Fresh Monkey Fiction Big Bad Workshop Operation Monster Force Lieutenant Griffin the Eraser optically compromised. Within the lore, the Eraser is the Invisible Man, essentially. He's invisible, but the Donner Party and his descendants that have the purple eyes can see him when he's invisible. That's the reason for the purple. Now, in the toy world, this is an easy exclusive because you're just passing translucent plastic through the molds, no paints, no packaging. It was just in a baggie along with some accessories. It's like a little teaser, a little sneak peek of the next releases. And if you have any experience with Monster Force, you know what's going on here because there's reuse involved. And here, the Eraser uses a lot of Declan Van Helsing. Love the sculpt of the wrapped head, and the goggles are removable. I think on the regular figure, that's just plain translucent. Ooh, and that is clear as hell. Look at that. Even with the purple tint, you can see through it. And I love my Monster Force figures. That's why I picked up the Eraser, because I wanted to add to it. Now, when the regular one comes out, he'll probably be the one on display and the one I use the most, but once I get the Donner Party, which I'm really looking forward to, that's my biggest want from the line. Once I get that, I can have some fun between this and that. So, yeah, that's cool. Let's see what the gun straps do. Is that supposed to go on the outside of that armor? Or can I do this? It's kind of a cleaner look. This is neat, but it was kind of bulky. Kind of sat up on the shoulders. I've seen some people having problems with the legs popping off, but there's a drop down, there's this, and there's a drop down, there's forward, back, shoulder, out, rotation, elbow goes up, torso, 2 places. Yep, I like that. Double knee, oh, the holster gets in the way. I did pop the foot off, but only because I cranked it back, hit the pants, and kept pushing. And you keep pushing it like a lever. It goes boom, but it pops right back on, doesn't fall off. Unfortunately, I took way too long to get this play day out, and this has already went up and sold out on Big Bad Toy Store, but the regular version should be coming at some point in the future, sometime this year. Something else I received at Toylanta is this picture from Charles Rodriguez. Just a robot robo with an RDK logo and kind of an Iron Man look to the torso, this blasting hand, and then thanks for all the weekly rewinds and playdays and for all the ones in the future. Like this one. This is a playday. This is definitely going on the shop wall somewhere because I love artwork like this. This is one of those things that I never expected. I never thought that, you know, I'm going to start making videos and hopefully someday people will make action figures and pictures and artwork of me. And oh man, it just kind of hits right there. It tickles in the chest area. It's just awesome. It's very t-shirty or print worthy, but at the same time, I like it unique that this is mine. This is going on my wall. I'm keeping it. Nobody else needs this. You've never seen me go this way, have you? Here are some totally random, not branded Halloween buckets. Those are eyes, not arches. See the dots? I got these from Toby Toys, or Alpha Magnus, if you're nasty. I've gotten to know Toby over the years at PowerCon and then Toylanta. I'm gonna crack these open and see what's going on with them. Yep, that's exactly. Oh, they're molded in. I thought before I opened it that this was painted, but no. I believe they're actually printed like that. Have the pumpkin, have the ghost, have the witch. Now, it's been a long, long time since I've had kids trick-or-treat age, so I haven't kept track of the generic fast food establishment bucket. So, but I seem to remember these being part of that, right? I mean, Are those fairly close? Oh, that's a different pumpkin. I thought there was 3 of the same pumpkin, but there's O-Face, there's Mean Pumpkin, and there's Happy Pumpkin. I'm afraid... Oh, it does open up. The handles are very, very thin, and I thought, oh, they're just sticking in there. But the stem is super long, so it's not just going to fall out if you get rowdy with them. Look what you done made me do, Alpha Magnus. You made me open one of the NECA trick-or-treaters. And I hadn't actually messed with one of these before. Got some head, got some arm going forward, double elbow, some leg forward and back, some knee back to there, and some ankle. A little bit of torso. And those come with a pumpkin, but like I was saying, those stems are very short, which makes sense. The top is open. Actually, it coming off is kind of easier to thread the handle into the hand and then put this back on. Hey, Robo, can you get any shakier? It's when I do precision stuff. Or maybe I'm just always shaky. So that totally works, but let's see. Okay, that handle does come out fairly easy. That's thin enough to slip right between the thumb and the finger and rest in the hand. And there's that. That completely works too. In fact, getting double the candy. It's for my little brother who couldn't come. I have the NECA Ben Cooper Batman and Joker, but it's up at Veeves' house. He was able to find them, picked them up for me, and I didn't have to worry about going out and finding my own. So I'll get those about San Diego Comic-Con time. But when I do, I'll have buckets to go along with them. I also got this Mythic Legions Logan-esque head from Matt Stein, or 13Z Customs. So, of course, I'm going to turn around and stick it on the Toylanta exclusive ATL 25 body that is way too tall. Well, I say way too tall, thinking of Logan, putting it on a dwarf body. I don't have an extra dwarf body. I need to order some. This I had in the bag without a head, and thought, I wonder if that'd work. So think of this as the Wolverine Origins Mythic Legions Logan, where he's super tall, back in the military, and just sick of it. Well, you know, military with the long sideburns and hair and such. When it comes to matte stuff, it's all about the paint for me. I just absolutely love the eyes and the skin tones and the highlights to the hair, just everything. Because he's only been painting for like 3 weeks or some shit. Or if you listen to what he says, which I think is a bunch of crap. I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm like, wait a sec, hey, what? Like I always say, there's tons of talented people out there and I love every one of you. He also likes to stalk me at shows. So there's that too. So this is kind of paying me back for all the pain and suffering, the mental anguish of turning around and seeing him standing there all the time. Am I throwing out too much inside joke stuff? Okay. Just know that this is cool. Very, very cool. I mean, look at it. Isn't it awesome? All right, there I was, standing at my non-booth at Toylanta, and up walks Will Busby, who hands me a bag with this in it. And I'm like, oh man, I've always wanted a Cyclops visor. I love props. I don't do a lot of them because of how much I spend on action figures already, but I've got a Stormtrooper helmet or two, and I've got a Boba Fett protocol droid. But this, oh man, this is meat and potatoes right here. Unfortunately, I can't wear it all the time, so it's gonna hang on the wall. And ooh, having that red laser right in your face for a little bit. Is it dark? He also gave me this Mega Banshee cape or sail. Or what would you call this? Sean Screams, which forces air down, I think, but you also need lift. So sometimes in the comics, it was just huge and it would flare out and whoo. So this is now my action Banshee. There's wires to get some life to it. And actually, now that I do that, I need to get that one to flare up some on this side too. But there is a lot of weight to it also, because it's just a lot of cloth and a lot of wire. But I think hanging above the display somewhere would be pretty dang cool. And believe it or not, I got 2 Banshees. So I can do the action screaming Banshee, and I could do the standing with the rest of the team sideburns Banshee and be perfectly happy. Oh no, I have the 3-pack Banshee. I don't need any more, right? Right? I have one on the team. I need one. I may need another one. Just because. Shall we? Seems like as good a time as any to transition over to some of my own figure mods. Just little tweaks and updates that I've done to things, like this new head for Siren. From father to daughter, from Banshee to Siren, from Sean to Teresa. Oh man. A few weeks back, I reviewed the Boss Fight Studios Red Sonja, and I love this thing. I really do. The only thing is you got to keep this down. But if you can keep the crotch cover down, you're golden. You're good to go. This is a fantastic Red Sonja. But she did come with a couple of extra heads, and since I love this one so much on the figure, I thought, hey, why put this in a bin when I can upgrade my Siren? She's a redhead with pale skin. Seems to work, and it does. I did have to modify the socket a bit to fit on the Marvel Legends head ball, but once I got it down that far, yeah, not bad. I do like it. I unfortunately don't have the original head to compare here, so I'm going to throw in a picture, and hopefully that'll be good enough. Oh, but we ain't done. It was almost like Red Sonja was made to upgrade Siren, because she also comes with a screaming head, and that is what Siren does. That is her whole power set. So got that to fit. It needs a little more dremeling, I think, but oh man, yeah. The hair gets in the way from crouching down or hunching forward and getting a braced scream going for some offense, and it kind of gets in the way of a flight pose, but if you arch her back, you can fake it for the most part. And I guess I could use this on her, but like I said, I have 2 Banshees, only 1 Siren. So that'll work. She'll be standing with the rest of her team. He'll be flying above the rest of his team. Everyone's happy. I showed this husk mod I did where I took a chrome marker and hit the face and the hands so it's a better representation of her power. But a lot of people suggested I come back and white out the eyes, and that's what I did. And that's it. No, I guess I could show what chrome pen I used. A lot of people suggest Molotow liquid chrome, and I've had good luck with this in the past. I've had good results, but lately I've been using this Fly-C chrome paint marker. It just has a bit more precision to it, a bit more control. I can just barely and do things or get on it. And I just hit it until it pulls up where it feels wet, and then leave it alone. You stop. And don't get me wrong, I'm the world's worst about going, that's not quite, let's try some more. Screwed it up. I don't know how many times I've done that over the years. And I think with age, I'm finally getting to that point where I can, okay, leave it alone. That's also one of the reasons I try to work on several projects at the same time. So I can mess with something, ease off. Because I think my biggest reason for to continuously messing with something is because I'm in the groove. I'm feeling the mood. And I got to do this while I'm feeling it. So if I have several projects going on, I can do that, stop, move to something else, mess with that for a while, come back. That's probably a long, convoluted process that a lot of people use, but I was just throwing that out there because that's what I do. Or after so many years, what I've learned to do. Now, sometimes that works against you because I'll have several projects on the desk and I lock up. I sit down and I go, oh, which one do I work on? Let's try this for a minute. That ain't working. I got to grab this. Oh, that ain't working either. And those nights, I just have to put everything down, go in the house. That's why play days sometimes come fast and furious, and sometimes they're slow and steady. It just depends on my mentality at the time. Because while it was chrome marker season, I hit this Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Mines of Mandalore Mandalorian with that same chrome marker and got this. I figured this was a lot cheaper than getting the Celebration exclusive Mafex Shiny Mandalorian. And it's not perfect, I know, but that's okay. Because I was just doing it to do it, to keep myself from ordering that Mafex. I had some people suggest sealing it or whatever, but the way I look at this is that it's not in the places that I'm going to be touching a lot. In fact, this will go on the shelf and stand for probably the next several years, and then I'll come back to it and go, did it hold up? Maybe, maybe not. But I enjoyed it while I had it, and that's all we're trying to do, right? Enjoy things while we have them. And also finding cheaper ways to enjoy those things. And this is $25. That Mafex is 110, or that's one of the places I looked. And I'm happy. Now, if it was the main Mando for my shelf, I would go all out. Try to seal it up, swap out this cape, do all the bells and whistles. But it's not. I have my main display Mando. It's a side project that happened to get finished instead of rotting away in my work in progress shelf. A figure that managed to make it out of work in progress hell is this TIE Fighter pilot. Okay, this is dumb as hell, I know, but stick with me for a second. I bought that 2-pack of carbonized figures that included this in all metallic blue, and then the Emperor's Royal Guard that looks fantastic in that metallic color. And I think at the time I thought, well, okay, maybe I'll throw some black onto the cloth parts and call it good. So that's what I did. Because this was carbonized. This had the metallic sheen like this, and it looked more like a statue. Maybe this is like a special pilot for a special craft. I don't know. I just like the metallic blue. Oh, I did come in on the lenses and paint those too, just to make those stand out a little bit. Like I was talking about a minute ago, the process. It can get overwhelming sometimes. And when it happens, you just got to paint some matte black. Because you can just turn your brain off and slap it on. Oh, wait. That does look pretty good. And since I bought 2 of those 2-packs because I need 2 Royal Guards and they were at Ollie's for fairly cheap, I have another one of these to paint up to flank whoever. Some kind of captain, maybe the regular TIE Fighter pilot, don't know. It's fun. It was easy. It was there. It's better than being thrown in a bin. Here's something I've been wanting to do for a good long while. Well, I say that. I actually had the Daredevil and Hydro-Man 2-pack Hydro-Man off to the side for a bit with a regular release Hydro-Man with the plans to eventually swap out the arms. But the regular Hydro-Man had a black shirt on that went out onto the sleeve, onto the shoulder. The watery Hydro-Man had clear joints, but the shoulder up here was painted. So I took my Winsor & Newton brush cleaner and restorer, which people are saying this is the old formula. I wet a cloth and rub it on, let it set for a minute, and then use a different part of the cloth with more on it, and it just kind of goes off. People are saying the new formula isn't as strong. It doesn't work as well. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm just going to try to keep this for as long as possible. I stripped the paint off the shoulder, but that still meant that the center cap was molded in black. What I ended up doing is just reaching down with an X-Acto blade into the space in between and slicing the peg. Now that's not the easiest thing to do. You heat it up, throw it in some boiling water, soften it up, and then take your blade and just work your way through it until you can feel it loosen a bit. Heat it up again because by then it had cooled off, and you can take a little flathead screwdriver and pry it open or pry it out and pop it off this center joint. Then you end up with something like this. You can see that the peg is away. But oh, Hasbro has to Hasbro, because once I got them apart, I saw, well, I'm not taking this one back apart, but wrong camera. This ring, the hole in the middle of the Stargate there, it's bigger on this one than it was on the clear one, even though these are the same torsos. I can only think they wanted a bigger peg for the heavier arms because this is a lot of plastic. So on the clear one, I had to take my Dremel and make the center ring a little larger. And guess what? Uncle Robo didn't measure. He just went at it. So on the first one, I went a little too large. Unfortunately, this is slightly loose, but again, this is heavy as hell. If I come up to here, it holds, because it jams itself in there. But once I get past that, it wants to drop down. The second one, I got my old calipers out, measured this ring, slowly opened this one up until it was the same size on the left side. And there, it stays in place. So there is tightness to be had. And the shoulders harden up nicely, so I'm not worried about it coming off if I get crazy. And the right arm being loose doesn't really bother me because I can always rotate it this way and move it out. That way there's tension, that the joint's sideways. So I can still get poses out of it and That's what I was looking for right there. Why they only gave us regular arms on the watery one? Maybe it was a cartoon thing. I don't know. I didn't watch the cartoon. All I wanted was an all-water Hydro Man. And that's about as all-watery as you can get. I like these white highlights that they put in places. I may come along with some white paint and do a dry brush, a very light dry brush in places. Well, they went pretty heavy down here. Maybe I'll do the same with these splashes on the back. But even just standing in a neutral position, it feels very fluid. That's what you come to the Playday for, baby. A while back when I was working with Reba Bleedo with Rob Lowe in order to get Orphan Maker and Nanny done, one of the packages he sent contained this rhino head. And at the time I had no clue what it was. It was rhino in glasses. I did some searching. I found them in some panels with a suit on. I had this extra Joe Fix-It body. So here is suited rhino. Now I don't know the context. And I think in those pictures he was a bit broader, a bit more rhino shaped inside the suit. But I didn't have an extra kingpin. Maybe eventually when that new one comes out, or is there another one? Somewhere down the line, maybe I'll change this up. But as is, I'm pretty dang happy. Joe Fix-It was more of a greenish gray, so I painted the hands gray, the neck gray to match the head, and that's it. I just left it as is. He included this wine glass, which again I saw with the panels, but I can't find my... Did Fix-It have an open hand, or do I need to find a rhino hand to stick in here? That would have been easier, wouldn't it have? Also, back when I was working on a leech for my X-Force team, I got on eBay and ordered this from Toy Box Customs. The problem was, it was too small, at least for my needs. I was working with Marvel Legends comic book characters. Turns out this is not what this was meant to be. This was meant to be an X-Men 97 or an X-Men animated series leech. This head was made for the Indiana Jones short round body. And you know the whole saga after that. When this was too small for my needs, I went and worked with Slow Ship Customs to get a leech and an Artie made with a kit that will fit with my X Factor team. But I didn't want to leave this just hanging, so I got another short round, I painted him up, and now I have an X-Men 97 leech. You know, to reenact those happy, joyful times of when we saw him on screen. Did I say happy, joyful times? I meant traumatic. I didn't know a cartoon was going to hit me that hard. I was unprepared for it, and then suddenly, emotions! So yeah, hopefully Hasbro expands on the X-Men 97 line sometime this year. Get more characters on that shelf. Speaking of my X Factor shelf, I do believe I am finally happy with my Naster custom. Naster? Nasty? Naster? Naster. Now you remember the original wings I had on this custom. This uses a Gargoyle's body, so I ripped the wings off another Gargoyle's figure to go with it because it was very demon-like, but oh boy, are they huge. And you know how things are these days. Shelf space is a commodity, is important. And I put this behind Siem and Goblin Queen, and he's just going to be taking up the whole space. Even if I could get them in front of the wings beside him, it would still be out here and behind other people. So, when D13 Toys had a sale on their Biblical Adventures Demon Wings, I thought, you know what? I think that's gonna be my Naster wings. And yes, he still has the tail hole. That's his emergency bathroom hole. Then I came along and did the same painting process I did for the figure. I base coated in black, and then I sprayed a rattle can gray from above just to give it some highlights here and there, and then finally dry brushed some white on the tops. Then you just slap on some Speed Paint 2.0 Ghillie Doo, just willy-nilly, randomly. Again, being able to shut off your brain during a painting process, just done. It's kind of a translucent paint that allows those highlights and shadows to shine through. Drilled a hole between the shoulder blades, between the holes for the original wings, and ba-boom. Relaxed wings. Much more shelf space friendly. I believe the head is from Big Head Studios. It's been a long time since I've gotten that, but oh man. That is Naster. That is some Inferno action. This is my prime comic book reading era. And that's why I'm so hot and heavy on that shelf. Once I got started, I thought, well, I need him, and him, and him, and him. And we'll get to work in progress here in a minute, or after I'm also finally calling this Marvel Legends Kane done. I came back, repainted the body, did the light blue to browns, took out the eyes, and some people say, well, that's still the wrong color, but you know what? It's Kane. I didn't even read this saga, but I like it in browns and dark blues or grays or whatever color that is. Gives them a bit more of an edge, but you're seeing the cloth cape. That is courtesy Dawn Sawyer. I hit the plastic cape out of the package with some dry brushing, lightened the pink, gave it a bit more roughness, and the same goes for the sash over the shoulder. Dawn said, hey, would you like it to not flare out to the side? I said, yes, please and thank you, and this is what I got. This ragged thing. And not ragged in the bad sense, ragged in a great sense, a perfect sense. There's wire in it, so I could still get that same look that it has out of the package if I want it flaring off to the side, or I can bring it down. Again, shelf space. This kind of kills anybody standing to his right. Now, somebody can stand right up on him. Please remove yourself from my general area. Are you talking to me, motherfucker? Oh, and just in case you want to get even more dynamic, there's a wire on this side too, to flare it out. So you can have that here and there and everywhere. So am I done? Can I put this on the shelf now? Call it good? I finally slapped some paint on my Carver Customs Char 71 droid. I featured this last year after Legion's Con with all the arm options and the attachments up on top and the shoulder pads. But this is how I configured mine and the colors I chose. I know it's just some green and red on a bare metal look, but I love bare metal. I did metal shop for 20 years working with bare metal. It's in my brain. I could have put a more extravagant paint job on here, but I was going for my preference. It's not because I didn't want to put more paint on it. I could do this, but I'd be lying. That's how I wanted it to look. But guess what? He has released a lot more options for it. Here are some ammo shoulders that slide over the peg. Take that and slide it off just a little bit, enough to slip this through there. And you have ammo attachment for the arm, which, I may leave that on there. Or I could go for some classic shoulder pads to slip down over it. There's this power core charger topper to replace the gun on top. There's a peg up there where you can just swap it out, plug that on, and ooh, aerodynamic. Or maybe I'll go with the spiked mohawk, and look how clean that print is. That's something I've noticed about all the stuff I got from Brian last year. And with this package, everything is so clean. There's a cryo arm. I'm assuming this is a Freon tank, and it sprays out, freezes stuff. Double Gatling cannon arm. A V2 antenna topper. Again, that replaces the gun on. Well, in fact, I still have the hole open. Let's do that. And, oh, that makes it kind of, hello. And that's another reason to keep the paint simple. I can just bare metal any of these, stick it on there. Or, well, like the Freon tank I would paint up. Like maybe a blue. Ooh, since this is a flamethrower, I painted it red. I'm that kind of basic guy. There's a rocket arm, so you can put it on the side, or a topper up on top. Got a jackhammer arm. Arms V2, which are, oh, you know what? That would add some symmetry, huh? Two grippers going on. There is this holster topper, and let's see, plug that up here. That hangs off the back. And is that for other arms? Am I missing something? I'm pretty sure I am. And then finally, here's the MuskyCon exclusive arm, which is essentially just a skull splitting axe. And that's the thing about this droid. It is very, very, very customizable. You can personalize it all to hell because he offers so much shit to go with it. This would be a fun little droid army builder, and all of mine would be bare metal. I would just change highlight colors here and there. So, if you're interested in this droid or any of the other things that Brian makes, because there's diorama stuff, there's lights, there's posts, there's lamps, there's droid things, go check them out. Link. One of the mainstays of the Play Day over the years has been Corey at Casting Cave, and today's no different because that's where I got this custom Robin head for the Mafex Robin body. Now, I have nothing against Carrie. I'm just not a big Dark Knight Returns kind of guy. So I didn't need the big Batman. I shared the pack with somebody else, and I just got the Robin because I wanted the body. This is small compared to the Mafex-bodied, McFarlane-headed Batman that I have on my shelf at the moment. But at the same time, it doesn't look too out of place. I mean, this is really, really, really child endangerment, isn't it? It's really just a Robin I wanted to get to pose around with and just have on the shelf running around places. It's not bad. What kind of pose is that? Corey also sent along this unmasked Logan head that works with either the CT Toys or the Mafex Wolverine body. He said it was specifically for CT Toys, but that's my main display Wolverine. It's the only CT Toys figure I've gotten. So I took the unmasked head and put it on the Mafex body because that looks pretty good. And that can stand over in my other display, my new X-Men display that I'm setting up. Jim Lee is in the house. The 80s, early 90s is in the shop. I'm working on that, and that may be where this goes. And then finally, he sent me a couple of the painted up Josh Brown Robo heads. There's the mechanical one, just rusted, just old and decayed. And what are you trying to say, Corey? Well, I guess it's not as old and decayed as the Robo Skeleton head, and I feel like Corey did a lot better job of capturing it. Here's mine. It looks muddy now that I put them side by side, and I didn't match the bone up. He is much better at painting, so the bone is pretty close, and then the beard, it doesn't have as much brown as it... Holy moly. The brown's going away, isn't it? And then he nailed the gray of the hat. I painted mine brown for some reason. I do have brown hats, I just don't wear them near as much. This, it's damn near perfect. So this is the one I'll use on this skeleton, and then I'll need to find a body for this one. Because, hey, they just look good. And if I do say so myself, I'm saying more that Josh Brown and his team, and then Corey did a hell of a job. Because just like I was talking about with Carver Customs and his clean prints a minute ago, Josh Brown nails it too. It's just so beautiful. Because he also produced this Toy Galaxian kit for Dan Larson over at Toy Galaxy, and oh, that's awesome too. Now, I did the paint job on this one, but I wasn't trying to match anything up, so it worked out a lot better. I did go for the glass look up here on the helmet, kind of more metallic than the reds on the sides, and then some dirty bone, the chest plug with some metallic red around it, and then the Secret Galaxy key. I just went with gold because that's what I think of when I think of old keys, and I may come back and do a bit more wear and tear. I did a little bit, but it didn't really do it as much on the gold as I wanted it to. This and the head and the chest piece and a smaller key is in the regular kit you can get from Toy Galaxy. That has sold out, but they are working on more. If you go to Josh Brown Customs, link in the description, there's an add-on kit with the 2 blasters and then an alternate chest piece that is kind of familiar to go with those blasters. So if you're wanting to laser tag up your Mythic Legions or a 4 Horsemen figure, you can do that. Or you can spruce up your Toy Galaxian. Here's a classified style Rambo from Green Diablo 1 on Instagram. The note says, finally had something that works, so I sent you my classified style Rambo, except this is legally distinct Rambo, so I call him Bo Johnson. Ever since I learned about Big Boa, I wanted more Stallone characters in a G.I. Joe style, so I bought 2 boas and combined one with Magneto head and rock and roll legs. Few more bits and bobs, and I'm pretty happy with how he came out. I post all my customs on Instagram, Green Diablo 1. Please enjoy and have a great day. It wasn't until I read the note that I recognized the Magneto head. The bandana does a lot to hide that. Got the bandolier straps over the chest, got the big freaking gun, and the lower legs change it up just enough. I mean, I guess it's the bandana, but it also has Rambo vibes from head to toe. Got the knife, got a pistol, some red down at the wrists, and yeah, I'm happy to put this on my G.I. Joe classified shelf. Thing about it though, I don't have Big Boa. I don't know why I don't have Big Boa. I'm very hot and cold with G.I. Joe. I get what I like, what I remember from the cartoon, and then I slow burn with my lesser known characters. So, but I know Rambo, and it makes me want to get Big Boa. Mission accomplished. While we're in the realm of G.I. Joe, here is the Whirlwind from Maester Chief. Now you may recognize the name because a while back he sent me this snake armor, and I love this thing. This was one of my favorite Joe items back when I was a kid. As a kid who didn't get a lot of Joe items. So I didn't recognize the Whirlwind at first until I went looking or saw the G.I. Joe logo here on the hitch. Unfortunately, I don't have a G.I. Joe vehicle to pull it. I didn't get the Jeep thing. Yeah, expert. I don't remember the code name for that. All I have is the motorcycle, and that ain't pulling this. The G.I. Joe logo is actually raised, so that's cool. Have all kinds of rivets and divots and armor type pieces and details. Rolling tires. Have some grips for a handle, a targeting computer, and some gauges. Places to put your feet, a place to put your ass. The barrels extend, in fact they come out, but I think they're meant to do the maybe? Not a big military guy either. The barrels hinge down this far and then go up that far, taking Cobra out of the sky. The base does rotate this far. It runs into the wheels, but those also flip down for a more stable base maybe, and then you can rotate all the way around. There's also these ammo reload bundles that I've just been laying off to the side because the Whirlwind is already loaded up, and yes, you can take that out, and that's actually a triple bundle, and this took me forever to find out. I actually had to message them to ask them how to get it in there because I didn't know that slid back. I was trying to take this triple bundle and stick it straight down, and it doesn't fit. He was like, hey, pull on the back and it opens up. You can slip it in there. He does have this for sale on his Etsy, as always. Again, link in the description. And then finally, we're gonna finish it off with Combo Man, because while everything else I've received in this play day put a grin on my face, this actually made me laugh out loud when I opened the box. If you don't know Combo Man, it was an ad from a while back in the comics that was a team up between Marvel and Combos. Yes, the pretzel snack. And the game became trying to guess who each layer was. And most of them are pretty obvious. Captain America, some human... Oh, no. See? That's Carnage. I'm not quite sure who this is. Is it... but Spider-Man? Who's the black with the silver? And that's Human Torch. And I believe this is Silver Surfer. Punisher, peeking out from under Magneto's cape. And Iron Man, Cyclops, Hulk. Just a wacky mix of characters that... Sometimes you see it on the internet and you go, oh, you know what? Someday I would love to have a figure of that. I have a figure of it. That's awesome. The note says, I've been watching you for a little over a year now, and you've been a huge inspiration in my customizations and painting. I hope you can be a good home for him. Oh, I'll be an excellent home for him. I am a great action figure father. I love all of my plastics equally. Thanks for the inspiration, Matthew. And that's it. No socials, no Instagram, no anything. So, no link to his profile in the description, but bask in the glory that is this Combo Man. It is fantastic. This is going front and center somewhere on my shelves. For some work in progress, here is a big Cobra Commander that I picked up at Big Lots a few months back that I'm painting into a bronze statue. I'm going for that hammered look, which is straight out of the rattle can, and I'm pretty happy with the front now that I've found the right paint, but the back got all fogged up. It got all fuzzy for some reason. The first coat was Krylon Fusion Hammered Copper, and as you can see, it just kind of got a little dusty looking. So I picked up a can of Rust-Oleum Hammered, and it came out much more shiny. So I'm going to give it a few more coats, see what happens. I'm also working on this, which may or may not turn out to be an astonishing X-Men Cyclops with his old new X-Men jacket on. I always like that look. I also feel like I've come up with a pretty good Doc Samson recipe with Hyperion torso and arms, Luke Cage legs and boots, unmasked Doctor Doom from the Monica 2-pack, and then some Kane hair. I just need to get everything fused together. That waist is terrible. And then, like I mentioned, I'm on an 80s kick, so I'm adding to Freedom Force with what I think is gonna be a Stonewall. I'm not sure about this body yet. I need to replace the legs and the forearms, or take those off and give him his bracers or whatever he's wearing. But of course, that's gonna mean Super Saber and Crimson Commando on the way. So at the end of the day, any day you get to play is a good day. It doesn't even bug me anymore how many times I say play and day in that outro. It just sounds so good, so right. I know at the first I said if you see anything you're interested in, go check it out with the links in the description. But even if you're not looking to buy anything, just go show the artist some love. Go give them some hearts. Go click the little things beside their names and give them a follow, because, man, there is some talented folk out there. We're all just really looking to share the hobby, share our love of the plastic with other people. We're just trying to get some enjoyment, just squeeze every bit we can out of life. And that's where we are right now. So get a printed head, slap some paint on something. It doesn't have to be eyeballs. In fact, I've gotten to where I actively avoid that. Now, every now and then I'll paint an eyeball or two and surprise the hell out of myself and go, oh, that came out okay. But if I had my way, it'd be all whited out eyes or masks or something. I just like doing the base coats and then some shading and such, dry brushing, slapping on, matte black, just, there's no wrong way to do it. Don't be nervous, don't be shy. Just start doing it and see where it goes. Love you. Bye.